Hey there. Today I want to talk a little bit about, I know I've spoken about root cause analysis when it comes to mental health and hopefully resilience. Sometimes it's really easy to focus on the ones that have the aggressive tendencies rather than the really, really passive tendencies. Aggression, you obviously see, how that plays out where someone's aggressive or just angry at the world because things have happened to them when they were a kid or parents haven't been very loving and all that kind of stuff. And there may be multiple reasons for that feeling, but essentially they develop that real aggression and anger at, say, their parents or whoever's causing them the trauma, and then they transfer that over onto something else by, being antisocial, bullying other kids, start to take drugs because they want to feel better, they want to be angry, and then they go and have, pick fights with people and all that kind of stuff. So we all kind of know those ones a lot more. You see that aggression, violence, that kind of stuff. If we rewind the other bit, so we go back to root cause analysis, there's obviously a lot of kids that, they go into the flight side of it, which is that really defensive side. And there's a number of things that play out. If your parents are abusing you and you're a young child, you start to figure out survival ways because you're looking for them, right? You're in defense mode in your brain. And so little things like, you kind of want to, when dad's not angry and he's happy and we do something nice for him and all that kind of stuff, then he doesn't hit us or hit mum or all that kind of stuff. So we play these little games, or not games, but we do things to try and enhance the chances that dad stays in a happy place, so to speak, if he's the one that's causing the issues, right? So we learn little techniques along the way, and over time we develop those techniques and it becomes part of how we make decisions. As I mentioned in some of my previous installments, the brain and the body both work together to make decisions. We make decisions based on how we feel about stuff. So if you've got a very strong defense mechanism as part of that personality that you've built because of some of this stuff that's happened, again, that root cause, what's causing this person to be so timid, so defensive, so fearful, and obviously, there's things that's happening to that person that's doing that, and they're not necessarily processing it and in a loving environment, got good role models around, and people that are usually being abused, the parents are the ones that's possibly doing it early on in life. So they're not also good role models. So it's like two things working against you already before you even, start school sort of stuff. So someone that does have that defense mechanism has learned little techniques along the way that if I keep other people happy and I always show a happy face, then, I'm in less danger. And so what happens is you see that then play out later on in life. Like when I work with people in the HR space at work level, those people can be your really, really strong people pleasers. Unfortunately, they can also get treated a bit like the doormat. They just get lots of stuff thrown at them. They were happy to take on extra work. And when you use the stats from Human Synergistics, for example, that explains, effectiveness, if you've got high, what they call green, which is the defensive, the passive defensive part of the fight or flight piece, if that's a dominant factor in you as a person, then you're less effective at work, you're less effective at home, your relationships aren't as good, your health is a lot less. So all these things become a negative part of it if that's what's dominating. If you're a really super passive person, your effectiveness is lower. So understanding that and going, well, that's not really helping me long term. How do I break this pattern for me? Think of anxiety, for example. People who are high passive tend to have greater anxiety. If you think of anxiety in terms of, it's fine to be anxious and worried about it. You've got a test tomorrow, there's stress, there's that, stuff, real stuff. But when it becomes a problem is when you start to think about stuff that may never happen. So your past might give you that feeling of something's not right? Again, it's a feeling, and when you feel that, you're not exactly sure what's causing it. So you start to look for things that may be causing it. It's like having that fire alarm keeps firing. There's no bloody fire. And so you're literally looking for something that may not be there. And then our brain's very imaginative, right? We create a lot of things as human beings over the years. We're imaginative. So we start to think about shit that may never happen. And then that causes us more anxiety. Oh, what if this happened? What if that happened? There's endless possibilities, right? So when you think about lots of techniques, as I said before, there's lots of techniques in the psychology space and things you can do. And some of it is to say, well, you think of anxiety and thinking if something could happen, that's a future state. So you think of a future state that's not actually helping you, and it's driving you into a red brain space. So starting to think differently and go, well, I don't want to think about something that may never happen, but it's taking me to red brain. I want to think of something that's taking me to blue brain. So to go, okay, if I at least plan for something that could occur, I can alleviate some of that stress. The other thing, techniques is, it's all well and good to have techniques when you're going through an anxiety attack, but it's about preparing and being ready when you don't have one. So you go, okay, I just had one. Let's analyze what happened there. What triggered me? How did I feel about it? Why am I so worried about whatever that thing is that's causing that, or the where that's taken me to red brain? By you actually just stopping and reflecting on that piece, or that activity, or that anxiety attack, whatever that is, if you focus on analyzing that, you're using your blue brain. And your blue brain is the part of the brain that helps you to reflect, helps you to problem solve. That's the part of the brain that you want to use. What happens is when you're in an anxiety attack, red brain's activated. It's going alarm bell, alarm bell, alarm bell. And when you're in that state, there's lots of physiological things that prevent you from being in blue brain. Your blood is drained from your brain into your muscles, getting ready for fight or flight, right? So you haven't got a fully oxygenated brain when you're in red. So you want to get into blue, forces your blood to pump back up into your big part of your brain. The blue part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, is much bigger than the amygdala, which is the size of a walnut. So understanding how the physiology needs to be when you're trying to get yourself out of red into blue, and activating that part of the brain, stuff like I said, there's lots of techniques, but today I was just going to mention analysis, right? Thoughts diary, writing things down after it's happened so you can analyze it, forces you to use blue brain, forces you to use that prefrontal cortex. Talking to people that have been through it is another way of doing that. You're learning vicariously from another person. They go, I've been in this place, this is what worked for me. And you're sharing, and it's another part of blue brain. It's very social. It's what kind of makes us as human beings interact with other people, right? So doing a couple of different things that are blue brain experiences can really help you change the pattern that you're not happy with. Hope that helps. Cheers.